Hello everyone, this is General Hand Grenade. Welcome to my war room in Prince George, British Columbia. I was going to do some solo gameplay to show you how the game plays, and I'm going to start tomorrow. I was going to start earlier, but so many things have come up, not the least of which is the couple of feet of snow in my driveway right now. I just shoveled it and it's all blowing back in there right now. I'm just about ready to give up on that. Anyway, I've had lots to do over the last few days. So this video is about the game. This is what you're looking at here. This is the opening setup. So I'm going to show you what it all looks like. Plus I'm going to talk about what's going on in the near future, like from now till the time we roll the game out, and what you might be able to expect, because I get questions like that all the time, and you know we're short on answers because we're beholden to others to get the components made and things like that, right? So anyway, I'll tell you what I know, and I'll tell you what I don't know. So let's just tilt this sucker down a bit. Let's go take a look around, show you the opening setup. What I did, like you can see the Dutch guy here, all of the neutrals, what I did was I made them really light. Before, what I had done was all of my neutrals were white, but I decided what I was going to do, because the territories, the strict neutral territories were all white. I was going to make those white, and I was going to give everybody else colors. So like there's the color that you're going to get, or that I have, sorry, for the Dutch, right? And I've done that, and I'm trying new painting techniques and everything. It's actually kind of fun. I've been doing it a lot. You've seen China there. I'm going to talk about China when we're doing the gameplay thing, because I did get some questions about the video the other day, and I spoke to Bob, and the thing is, like, we made the thing, and sometimes you think, okay, well, he's written that down and he thinks I've written that down, and so things didn't get written down. So we're clarifying some things, and that's why the rules haven't been set in stone or anything. That's why we're not getting you to print them off or anything like that, because this is the first edition of this game, and there's still a bit of work to do, right? We have to make sure that everything is in there. So when people have questions, it's obviously because we've forgotten something or something needs to be explained further, right? Anyway, so there's China, and there's Japan right there. I decided to go with this crimson color for Japan. A lot of the units in here are specific, like 3D printed unit. Like this is the Japanese 3D printed infantry, right? So a lot of the units that I have are those, and I really like this sculpt here. So I had the other ones, the ones that we've had for years for the 36 game, the plastic ones for coastal submarines, and I really like that one. That's an American one. You'll find that in the 3D printed section for the American. So I decided to use that for everybody because it's a unique looking sculpt, right? So you're not going to mistake a coastal sub for a submarine. They actually look really cool, and they do look like an old sub. Like that particular sub, I think it was around the turn of the 20th century, right? That sub was put into use. So anyway, you'll find that the Americans in this game, like, they were not ready for war at all. So they're even thinner in this game than they are excuse me, at the start of the 36 game. So they had no intentions of going to war. So also I have my old player aids. Like there's the ship and facility production chart. This is from, I think, version 2 of the 36 game, because I'm having to use old ones. Like we had this printed on the other map. We've decided not to print it on. We're going to make that a separate player aid. So I had to use something, and I went and grabbed this one. So the ships that, like the pictures that are on there, are not what they're supposed to be. But I needed a 4-stage one because we have a 4-stage one for the 36 game, right? So that's why I'm using that one. Anyway, let's keep moving down. You see, I think Russia has more territories. I'm not sure, but I think there might be even more territories in there than there used to be. So let's just take a look at the Eastern Front over here. So there's the Pripyat marshes. I haven't finished painting my other Pripyat marshes yet. Doug is replacing all the ones that people have bought already, because there's a railway that goes through there, and so the new one has that railway, and I haven't finished painting it yet. I was busy trying to get all the other pieces painted. Anyway, so yeah, again, you know, like here's some of the printed sculpts for the Russians. Like we've got all the infantry except the French infantry, but that's already done. It should be out within the next week. Like I've already processed it and everything, and we just have to wait until enough of them are printed before they hit the website. But we've got infantry for all of the nations. Cavalry is, I keep waiting every day. I keep looking in my inbox, but it hasn't quite there yet. But it should be. That's the next thing. And then after that, we're going to be putting trench fighters out, and they're going to be really cool. Like we're going through and getting all the different weapons that all the different nations used for their trench fighters. There's some pretty wicked looking ones too. Kind of looks like a scene from Mad Max. Anyway, just taking you around. But yeah, like I'm still using the cavalry sculpts that I used in the 36 game, and that's why, and let me just back up here, that's why these are the wrong color. I didn't want to paint them because these are for my 36 game. That would be the Spanish ones, the Republicans, and also the CCP. So that's close enough for the color for the Russians, and they're not the right color. I'm waiting for Russian cavalry to be put out, and like I said, I didn't want to paint these and then have to paint them back the other color again, right? Anyway, you can see Germany has a pretty sizable navy over here. Let me just let's zoom in a bit. Yeah, there we go. So there's the German Navy. That's most of the German Navy. Like they got a few subs and a couple of torpedo boat destroyers that aren't there, but other than that, that's the bulk of their navy right there. Yeah, I'm just pausing here to let you get a good look. Here, let's move it up a bit. You can look at the Germans from this side. Anyway, let's see if we can put this down right here. There, we get a bit of a look at the British over here. So this is the only task force marker that I put on the board. Because of the expanded Europe, I'm just loving it. Like we didn't have this expanded Europe all through playtesting, and it's really nice to have. But the one thing is, like this C zone used to be one C zone, now it's two C zones. So there's not much room in there for this sizable British Navy here. You can see it there. Like there's quite a bit of stuff in there for the British, right? You got 3 dreadnoughts and 2 pre-dreadnoughts, a couple of cruisers, a couple of torpedo boat destroyers, and a transport. I've been using these for all the torpedo boat destroyers, but the British one should be coming out soon. We've got one, and it's modeled and everything. But, you know, like there's so many units and so many games and everything that everybody's got to wait their turn, right? So don't quite have the British ready to go yet. Anyway, they'll be there though. But yeah, it's Britain and Germany are the 2 strongest nations on the board. The one thing with the British Empire in this game is they're like the Commonwealth in the 36 game. They're all over the board, but in this game, they're more on offense than defense. In the 36 game, they're kind of like holding the line against Germany and Japan because the Americans aren't in it yet, and the French get kneecapped early in the game. The French are stronger in this one, but they're still going to be on the defensive though, because Germany is stronger than France, and so Germany will more than likely be pushing into France to begin with, and then like where are we here? There's the Western Front right there. So yeah, lots of units on the Western Front. I think the most populous territory on the board to begin with is Western Germany here. Like they've got 12 dudes in here, 5 artillery. They've got balloons and zeppelins and planes and seaplanes and coastal artillery, heavy artillery. There's a couple cavalry in there, so they're stacked right up there. Because when they went to war, they went through the Low Countries here, the Netherlands and Belgium, right? But you don't have to do that though. Like you can go around there. One of the things the Germans get to do is they get to shift 5 of their units before they begin their first turn, so they can take 5 units from anywhere they want and put them over here if they want. Actually, I think I'm missing something in here. It looks like I might be. Anyway, just one thing though. I'll have to check on that before I start my game for sure. Here, let's move over here. Get a look at the eastern states of the Americas. So yeah, like I said, not much in the United States. Like you can see how small their navy is there. There's only 2, 4, 6 ships in there, and not many on the other side. And not as much factories either. Like there's 3 majors here, no majors on the other side. There's 2 minors, I think, and 1 medium as well. But that's, you know, like there isn't as much stuff. You got to remember, the passage of time hasn't happened yet. And America was still, they were not the powerhouse 100 years ago that they are now, right? Anyway, let's just set this down somewhere. Okay, so there's the Ottomans. You can see there's a bunch of stuff in Constantinople. Now, they don't have much of a navy, and neither does the Austrians. The Austrians isn't too bad, but I mean, really, it's not something that can stand up to the British and the French navies, right? So you kind of got to stay in port with those navies until you get that one chance in the game where you're going to do something, and you go ahead and you do it, and there goes your navy. You probably won't have a navy for the rest of the game. Once you leave port, if you leave them open, then they will die soon, probably. I'm guessing, right? The British Navy is so huge in this game that it's pretty hard to hide from them if you're not going to stay in port. And that's one of the reasons we put the import rules in. And then the import rules were taken from this game and put in the 36 game, although they're different. The import rules in this game are different than the one in that game. And one of the reasons is, of course, that they actually have planes in that game that can fight, whereas the planes in this game were just invented. So they don't have range. They're not nearly as effective in this game, right? And you see down here, there's the Middle East. I really like the looks of this, the way it turned out. You can see how there's different factions in the desert and everything. The British are in there. This is the color here that I'm using for the Arabians. And here's another one. This is Najd. And the Ottomans are there. Not many British. Just this guy here, I think, in the Middle East. And then over here, of course, over in Persia. It's not going to take them long to get there, though, because there's a lot of manpower icons in India there. So that's going to be a lot of your production, is putting units in India. Probably Britain will probably put a factory over there, and that will help, because then they can build more than just colonial troops, right? Like they can also build infantry, and they can build artillery, and you know, of course they will be building Gurkhas. That's what every country has an elite unit, and theirs is Gurkhas, and it has to be built in India for these guys, right? Some of them, like the Ottomans, have to be built in their home country. The French have to be built in North Africa, because that's where they were from, the Zouaves. And then Germany and Austria, theirs have to be built in home country. and the Americans have to be built in home country too, and the Italians. So it's just the British and the French where they have to be built outside of home country. Anyway, let's take a look down here and try not to wreck anything. There we go. Take a look down in South Africa here. So yeah, there's quite a number of units down here, and you do get into a bit of a fight down here for sure. Just trying to move around without wrecking anything there. Trying to move around slowly too so you can take a good look. And there's your South America all set up. You can see the pure white units there. Those are the strict neutrals. And these guys, they just got a slight bit of gray on them, so they're not strict neutral. And the blue, that's just a blue wash. It's not even a blue paint for the Argentinians. Same with Brazil. That's just a green wash. And up in Spain here, Spain is not that heavily populated, mostly just Madrid, although there is a couple of boats over in Leon Castile. Portugal has quite a bit of stuff, like there's a couple of infantry there and a torpedo boat destroyer, but they've got 2 colonial infantry down in and territories down in Africa there, so they're one of the more powerful neutral countries. They wouldn't be a bad one to get diplomatically. I think they start on the British track, like the British have already got some influence on them. Anyway, let's move over a bit. So there's Italy. Italy's not that powerful in the game. They were, you know, like they were a bit powerful, and so we cut their income a bit because Italy shouldn't be swaying the game big time one way or the other, right? They were not a huge player in this war, and so we knocked them down a couple of dollars so that when they do enter the war in the summer of 1915, they're not going to you know, be the huge deciding factor. I mean, they will be a factor for sure, but that maybe not the deciding factor. And you can see that they've got a pretty decent navy there. So, you know, if they did go to the Central Powers, if you add up the Austrian and the Italian and the Ottoman navies in the Mediterranean, they'd have quite a few boats, but of course they can't attack together, right? They can only defend together. What else haven't we looked at? Here, let's just see if we can find a spot here where we're not going to crunch anything. And let's zoom out a bit here. There we go. Take a good look around Europe here a bit. So yeah, the factory production, you know, from like my last video there, the factory production is mostly in the eastern part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. There's not much over in the west. Another good nation to influence would be Romania down here, because they've got 5 infantry and a militia. They've got a factory over there. I think they've got another boat coming as well, like later in the game when units get added. Bulgaria, same thing. Bulgaria's got a lot of units in there. If you play in the prequel, then that's going to be a big thing to get one of those countries, or to take them out. It's going to be difficult, and that's something that the Central Powers want to do. You know, it'd be nice to influence them, but if not, they're probably going to have to take them out, because part of the income, like the bonus income, is drawing a rail line from Constantinople to Berlin, and of course you have to go through the Balkans there, and so so that's one thing you're going to want to do, is open up that rail line so that you can, and also it makes it easy to lend lease from Germany down to the Ottomans, because they don't have much money either, and they're going to be tough against the British, right? but they're, you know, like they're strategically located and everything. They have the canal in here, or I guess it's called a strait. But so they're pretty important in this game. Anyway, have I showed you everything yet? I think I've been all over the board. Yeah. Okay, so there's a couple other things I want to show you. So you've seen the Chinese card deck. This is the Russian Civil War card deck. Here, let's just set this down over here. There is, I believe, 36 cards in this deck, and it's all different random events. So you can see, again, they've got the roundel up there. So this one would be a French card. Every nation is involved in the Russian Civil War. And you can see there's no fist on this one. So this one is the for the Civil War. There's also, here, I think, yeah, I haven't shuffled them yet. So you can see there's a partisan fist on there on the bottom right. That means that this is a revolution card. So 18 of the cards, you play the Russian Revolution. And the difference between the Revolution and the Civil War is only that World War I is still going on. So while World War I is going on, there's only 18 cards, and you shuffle them and you choose cards, and those would be your random events, right? And then once the war ends, then let's get down to the bottom half of the deck here. Then you take the rest of the cards, the ones that don't have a fist, and you shuffle them in with the ones, with these ones that are left. Like you have a discard pile, and you discard the cards that you've already used, right? So then, you know, like you'll have both the Revolution cards and the Civil War cards in the same deck after that. Here, I'm just gonna move some things around over here so I can set something up for you. There's something else I want to show you. And that is about purchasing the game. So let's bring this over. Okay, there's the handy dandy computer. So this is the website. Now we've changed this just recently. And to buy the game, you go to here, Global War 1914, and I'll leave a link to this page here in the description box. You can see that it's changed in here if you haven't looked at it for a while. So here you can find the game, and it's not for sale yet, but it will be soon. But go back to that page here. Now downloads, this is where all the rules are, the rules and the reference sheets. So, and we're not going to, like I was saying earlier, we're not going to finalize these and print a rule book just yet. We want people to buy the game and to check it out and to find out if there's things that they need clarifications on. Like, we would rather clarify in the rules than have to answer the same questions over and over again, right? So that's why we're leaving them open. Anyway, so there's where your downloads are. And what else we got here? We put everything you need here now. Now, markers. There's two different, there's roundels and there's markers. So I've gone through the whole website and I put every marker that you could possibly use for the Global War 1914 game in there. Some of these are going to come in sets, so if you wait, then you can buy sets of them, and it'll be a little cheaper for you. And like these ones here, these are from the Russian Revolution. They're all going to come in a when you buy the Revolution. So these are the only markers that you're going to need for the game. All the other World War I markers that are on the site you don't need for this game. So then there's the roundels, and these are all the correct roundels that are on the map. All the neutrals and all the playable nations, major and minor powers. Those are all the roundels for them. The Chinese roundels are on there. So they're all in one place there. And again, we're going to have sets of those, sets of playable roundels and sets of neutral roundels. So if you wait a little bit, those will be out soon. What else? What else we got here? So we put everything else you could possibly use. Like, here's your decals, right? And what this does is just a link to where the decals are. So these are all just World War I decals. That's it. No World War II or Cold War or anything. And then 3D printed units. There's all your 3D printed units for World War I right there. So one-stop shopping now. You don't have to hunt around on the website anymore. And then accessories. So here we've only put a few things in so far because we're putting more sets together. So you've got a couple of different task force markers. There's some World War I bucks up there. And here, I gotta put that up a bit for you there. And there's a snap tray if you want. There's the 3D printed terrain set. So we're going to be putting other stuff on there that you can buy, like sets of. Like for instance, the sets of markers, build plates. A set of build plates will be in there, and you know, just all the different sets of things that you're going to be able to get. So what else do we got here? So that's accessories, and then box sets. So these are all the different box sets, right? The 172 box set. So here's Germany, for instance. So the different kinds of German things that you can get for the game. I've got this set here. The Stormtroopers, they're pretty cool. You know, it shows you them. So this is that. Anyway. So, and then there will be one more section that isn't there yet, and that will be, hang on, let me get back there. One more section that isn't there yet, it'll be here though, and that's going to be expansion sets. Sorry, I had to think about that. It's going to be the expansion sets. So the prequel will be in there, and the Russian Revolution will be in there, or the Russian Civil War. You can call it either one. Anyway, so those things will be in there in that part. And I don't know the prices yet. I don't think Doug knows the prices yet. He's going to have to go through and price everything still. So let's just move this over here. Let you look at something else, and I'll go through some of the things that we're looking at here. So I don't want to show you this because this isn't a public document. So yeah, like the core game, you're going to get the map. Of course, the rules are free, and the national reference sheets, those are all free. You just got to print them off when they're ready to be printed off. And then you've got the player aids, like the battle boards, the IPP chart, the technology chart, the diplomacy chart. With you will get the little diplomacy roundels that I've showed you in the past, the half-inch roundels. Of course, a turn marker, right? You get the Chinese Warlord era card deck. You've seen that in the Chinese Warlord era video. And then the mandatory offensive roundels. And yeah, so I think those things are going to be what comes with that. Then there's going to be marker sets. So one of them is the kind of markers that you're going to need that you might not have already. Like you've probably already got militia markers, right? So this is going to be like colonial troops, naval infantry, trench fighters, elite markers, German Raider, import markers, naval mine markers, and poison gas markers. And there's a certain number of all of those. So those are going to be out. There might even be a wider marker set, you know, like things that you might have in already, like major ports and minor ports, you know, things like that, convoy line, convoy markers, things like that that you probably already have. But we'll keep them separate so that, you know, the people that don't have them can buy a big whack of them at once, and the people that do have them, well, they can just get the other set there. So another thing, so the Chinese Warlord era roundel set, we're going to have that available as well, and that's because like you don't need 10 Feng Xian roundels, you know. You only need a certain amount of them. So you'll be able to buy all of the roundels in the exact amount that you're going to need for all the warlords and the nationalists, right? And then with the prequel expansion set, you're going to get the Mexican Civil War mini-map. You're going to get the Balkan mini-map. And then I think like we're going to sell it two different ways for people, because some people might not want to spend too much money or they don't have enough money. So one is just going to be that, and another one is going to be that and all the roundels that you would need. So there's 2 Mexican factions, so all the roundels you would need for that, and then the Greek, Bulgarian, Serbian, and Montenegro roundels that you would have in the Balkan Wars. Now, the Ottomans are also in the Balkan Wars, but you would have Ottoman roundels already with your Ottoman army, right? And then the Russian Revolution, you're going to get the Revolution card deck, and then all the different markers that you're going to need. There's lots of different roundels and markers like the Green Army, the Black Army, the Soviet Capital, Baltic Sailor, Freikorps, Machno Army. There's a whole bunch of different nation roundels. So you're going to get all of those. That's going to be a big set, a big expansion set. And also there's the control markers, right? Like Austro-Hungarian controlled or German controlled or US controlled. There's a number of those that come. So that's just going to be a huge set. And like I said earlier, there's a build plate set. Might put together a Playable Nations roundel set for people who don't already have roundels for this game. So rather than, you know, having to buy them all separate, we'll put a whole bunch of them together, and then you'll get a little bit of a break on the price, and you don't have to buy them all, right? Like for instance, Austria-Hungary in this set here that I've got put together here, they're 15. France is 15, Russia is 15. So, but you can't buy 15 on the site, right? So, you know, excuse me, this allows you to get the right amount. And this amount that I've got here includes using some for your technology chart and your IPP chart as well, right? Is that it? Battle label set, so, you know, to label all your boxes. And then maybe a neutral roundel set. I'm not sure about that. That's one that isn't really important right off the bat, because like I used to do that. I used to put neutral roundels on all my neutral countries, but I don't know. I kind of stopped doing that. It's just it's a space thing more than anything, and kind of a hassle. But it looks cool though. You know, I don't hate it or anything. I just it makes it a little quicker, you know, setup and all that. So I just stopped doing that. But that doesn't mean that you have to, right? If you want to do that. Anyway, so those are the things, and those where to get them on the website. And sorry, I don't have all the prices yet. You can see some of the prices on there, but at least we put it all together so you don't have to hunt around the site and go into all kinds of different places just to look for the right roundel. Is this the right one? There's a whole bunch of Austrian ones, and which one is it? And you know, like we've got it all put together there, so you can find everything easily now. And very, very soon it will be done. It will be out for sale, and looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to get my player aids because I'm using old ones. So when I play the game, I probably won't be showing them too much. Like these are just player aids from play testing, right? The new ones are much nicer. There's a diplomacy one over there. So yeah, they're much nicer. They're beautiful actually. I really like them. Anyway, that's about all I got for you today. I just wanted to show you about the game before I started playing and making a mess here. Yeah, I think you're going to enjoy this game. I know I'm going to enjoy it starting tomorrow. So take care, everyone. General Hand Grenade out.